neglecting the family, you neglecting me, and it's all about the money. But if we would have had the intentional conversations beforehand in that dating stage, I would have understood where your mind was. First, though, what is submission? What does that actually mean? Because I think we get it. Up. So, how can you be together if you're not equally yoked? If you can't walk together, that's foundational.
Guys have no direction. Like I could pay all my bills if you leave me today. But the question was, why women don't submit? So I'm gonna speak up for my sisters. I'm loving it.
Ooh. Now look, why is it so hard for women to submit? Welcome. This is Relationships 101. I'm your host, Sylvester Wilson.
And I'm your co-host, JasMeka Wilson. I'm loving it.
Ooh. Now look, why is it so hard for women to submit in today's society? Is it the climate of society?
My sister's gonna have to send me a.
Is it the culture? What is it? First though, what is submission? What does that actually mean? Because I think we get it
up so people don't be like, that's y'all point, that's y'all view.
Yeah, let's be literal.
Submission.
Mm-hmm.
Help us, Lord. The action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person.
Boom. Okay. What you got to say about that?
First things first.
Okay.
Superior force. Who is driving my man?
Right. What's the superior force that we both are submitting to, first of all?
Yes.
I think we should agree to that.
Or just the men, because the question is why women aren't submitting.
Mm-hmm.
So who's leading my man?
Mm.
Who's the superior force that's leading my man?
But of course, the woman still has to agree with it. Because if she don't agree with who he following, then why should she follow him?
Y'all, they better not forget to date.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, because that should be actually one of them questions in the dating period, right? Find out who we don't go for that. I saw a video about the one of them videos where they do the dating game thing, the new dating game thing they got where the guy come out with popping the balloons and all that, and the one who the one who they said one of the girls said he looked like a Ninja Turtle or something, but he was a plumber, and one girl asked about his faith and he said he definitely believed in God, but he wouldn't get into,
He wouldn't get into
the meat of what he really, the dynamics of how he believed and everything. Dating period, let's get into it, right? If he like that on the second date, whatever that is, give him a little grace, okay? If you feel like you're gonna have another date with him, then yeah, we definitely gonna follow up with him. Let him know, we're gonna get into it though. I respect that we ain't gotta get into it right this moment. Right? I take what you just gave me, the fact that you do believe in God, though, and right? I take that little bit, but we definitely gonna get into it before we get to another level, right? Definitely, we ain't finna listen, please. Please don't get to the point where you done gave up your leverage. And what I call leverage when it comes to women is, yes, that thing that every man wants from you. Once you've given up that leverage, then that's why we change on you. However, before you get that leverage up, you definitely better know, right, what's going on, who's leading this man. Okay? So,
you had a daddy-daughter moment. You just came off your little daddy-daughter dinner date vibe.
Just came off.
You gonna have to kind of like switch gears on us for a little quick second.
Hey,
that
I'm
was
sure some of my, it's some
that
daughters
was a
watching.
message to Sahara.
There's some daughters watching.
But
listen,
no,
everybody's
not only
somebody's
though,
daughter.
babe.
Come on
not only is it leverage, there's also study around how when women have sex with men, we're more emotionally connected. That's why, like, y'all can easily just have sex and go. For a woman, once you have sex, you already planning out your future with this guy, how many kids he can have, because we release certain hormones during that time that activate stuff in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be so blind because you done had some good pain, and now you can't make a sound judgment of, hey, we unequally yoked. Mm-hmm. That's probably why them people date within their culture and do all that, what it's called, arranged marriages.
Right.
Because they know you're going to go through a lot of things in life. But if y'all can agree on the faith side, mm-hmm. y'all might be able to make it.
Right.
But let's get into
that's foundational. It's foundational. Who it is that you believe in is foundational. I believe that how can you be together if you're not equally yoked, if you can't walk together? That's foundational.
It's foundational.
Gotta know who they believe in. Who's leading your man before you talk about following him.
Absolutely.
You know?
Because it say yielding to a superior force.
Right. Now what's the other part?
Or to the will or authority of another person.
Okay.
So for me, I think that's my order of submission. Because it gave us an or, not and.
Right.
So, okay, who's leading my man? And then I'm going to submit to you in your areas that you're called to lead.
Right, so let's get into actually submitting to an individual's will or another person. Let's get into that part of it.
Okay.
I feel like there would be separate. I say that I feel like that's circumstantial, depending on what the circumstances are. That's why it's important, I feel like, to know what the strengths and weaknesses are of your partner, right?
Absolutely.
Of your lover, of your spouse. Know what their strengths and weaknesses are. Have that conversation. Be open about it. Don't get offended because, you know what I'm saying, your weaknesses may show up in the area. We need to know that. Mm-hmm. Because that means that that's not an area where you should be operating in authority in regards to this relationship. Mm-hmm. And if I feel like strengths are, if money management is your strength, for example, mm-hmm. right? Then when it comes to certain decisions, certain direction, right? In that, like, we definitely can make decisions together.
Right.
But certain direction in that, and taking advice about it, I can definitely submit to you, knowing that you're stronger in that area in regards to that.
Just to share a story, I remember one time a family member asked to borrow money or something. Mm-hmm. And they didn't understand when you was like, call Jazz, ask Jazz, and then we'll talk about it. And they just felt like the order of the home is the man. Why am I calling Jazz to figure out, can I borrow some money? But it's just the structure of our home, how he's pointing out, if that's your strength, I'm going to submit to you in that area, not that you have full control, because we agree, like, once they call me and Sylvester discussed finances together, then we made the decision together, but it threw people away. It threw them like, ask Jazz, okay, you the man of the house, but whatever. So I think that's why it's easier for me to follow you too, because it's just not, I'm the leader in this house, like this dominant, aggressive, misguided, misplayed.
Toxic.
Yeah, like
if you watched our other episode about toxic relationships or toxic behaviors in relationships, we talk about how we was able to realize that, hey, toxic is actually where, a toxic relationship is actually a relationship where there's imbalance in the power structure. So always somebody else's will, right? Mm-hmm. Talk about the will of an individual. There's always the same individual's will that we're submitting to. It should never be that. That's toxic. Mm-hmm. So let's get into who's the authority over this particular thing, and then let's submit to that.
Just having order. I think having order and knowing the strengths and weaknesses in our partners help with submission. But the question was, why women don't submit? So I'm going to speak up for my sisters.
Speak up.
I'm going to speak up. They're not submitting because some guys have no direction.
Okay.
No vision.
Okay.
No purpose. I've been trusting you for 5 years, and not you, but just saying. I've been trusting you for 5 years, and no movement, no motion. Like, nothing came about from me trusting you and leading that. Or, and let's be honest, Black men don't have as many opportunities as Black women, so they got their own resources. They come in with some heavy bags.
Right. And
it's like, submit to you for what? Like, I could pay all my bills if you leave me today.
Right.
So I just think it's unfortunate, but it's what's happening.
Right. So where society may have kind of through an imbalance in the power structure of today's homes,
giving opportunities to women
more so than what they give to men.
The Black.
Right. And a lot of our women have taken the bait, and they've taken on this attitude that, if he can't, if he ain't making what I'm making, and yada yada yada. Yeah, it's kind of thrown off. I think when you talk like that, you're ignorant and you haven't looked at the actual statistics. You haven't looked at the numbers, the amount of men who are actually positioned to get those same positions that you're getting now, and making the money that you're making now outside of the workforce. Traditional workforce, there definitely are opportunities for men who make opportunities for themselves, right? So that's that. If you're looking for a man who's, to be 9 to 5 and still be able to make the same as you, then that just may not happen in today's structure, society-wise.
And it's not only money for women. Like, I'm not trying to paint them out of, if I make $200K, I'm the man in this house. I think some women are making that, and they still can submit to a trying, dedicated, loyal, determined guy. Not an entitled guy that just feel like, oh, you got to take care of me because you make the most, or just doing his own thing outside.
So what would make a woman, you think, what would make a woman who was making more than their man still be able to submit to him?
Available, faithful, present, consistent. And this ain't for all women, because some women do make the money and get a little airy in the head and just get uppity and up there.
That power.
So this don't go for all. Just speaking of myself and in the space that I am in, I think that's what keeps women like that grounded. That's not for everybody, because some people get up there and be like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah. And I think if you're one of those women, then just like, again, knowing what the strengths and weaknesses are of your partner. So if you know that your man may not be strong in the area of 9 to 5, or, he do his thing, but he ain't making what you making, you know what I'm saying? Then guess what? But he has an entrepreneurial mind, and then
support him.
Yeah, like all that extra money you making, then that shouldn't just be going to paying bills or taking trips.
But we coming against the wave. So a lot of people ain't gonna agree with us, because right now it's a time of women. Like, it's a women movement, like a women empowerment. Yeah. Like, everybody just putting dollars and support and grants and this to elevate the woman. And I'm not opposed to that. Right. But I just feel like in that, they're strategically destroying the Black men, not the whites or whoever else, whatever. But they're strategically destroying Black homes by providing women who never had it, who feel like they're breaking generational curses with resources while they destroying something else.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to be careful of the tactics. Like, opportunities come where I can leave and neglect home and be making all this crazy money as a traveling therapist. My family come first. My home come first. The money is great, but
So, I mean, again, the beliefs, right? Do we believe the same? Do we have the same values when we getting together? Because if we don't, and you think we do, but we ain't really had that conversation, and then we get into it, and then you start making more money than me, and then you start taking those values that you have and acting out on them, and I'm like, dang, what's going on? What you mean? Like, I feel like you tripping. I feel like you're neglecting the family, you neglecting me, and it's all about the money. But if we would have had them the intentional conversations beforehand in that dating stage, I would have understood where your mind was in regards to your individual goals versus family goals for the family and as a unit. So again, while we're talking about submission, we have to understand and agree what the superior force is, right?
Yeah, who?
Right? Who is the superior force that we, that may be different for different families and different cultures. Cool. What's the superior force that we submit to, right? And then as individuals, what areas are each one of us strong in to where we have the authority, a certain authority over those areas within our power, our home structure, to where I may be submitting to you in a certain area and you may be submitting to me in a certain area, right?
I think guys need to recognize that, though. Submission look different in all areas. Like, when it comes to the kids, school and choice, you leave that solely on me. Yeah. Why? Because I never fail. I never dropped the ball in it. You know I'm going to do my research. Your kids are placed at schools where they're safe and we're growing, and it's fitting. But on the outside, it could be seen as, so you just let her pick all the schools and just do all of this. Submission looks different. Like,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's a trial and error too. Some things we had to do trial and error in to figure out who should have the authority over certain things, and then some
my husband could count, y'all. But listen, when we first got together, he was over the finances. And y'all know our story when we first got together. If you don't go back to how we first met,
first episode,
money wasn't an issue, but it was an issue.
Yeah.
So my husband know how to make 1 + 1 = 2. But God bless your girl, well, 1 + 1 = 5. How he could do it. Like, I know I'm smart with the numbers. He's smart too now, don't get me wrong. But I was gifted in a way of numbers. So for a while he did that and I submitted. And then we realized, babe, you paying these bills, but it's another way. And he was open to the other way. And that's where communication came in. And we agreed that, okay, let's make this change. Let's see how it goes. It wasn't just, I say, let's change it and we change it. No, trial and error. I showed myself faithful in it and I continue to go since then,
the money management. So, also, you're way more passionate about it than me. Like, that's just something that, when she's stressed out, y'all, she go run numbers. She go do math when she's stressed. That's her woosah. So when you're dealing with a person like that, oh yeah, have at it, please. God bless you. So submitting, right? In that, individuals, we understand now, submitting has to do with your strengths, my weaknesses, great. But then when it comes to vision, back to the power structure, right? The vision should be handed down from, the vision for the family should be handed down from that superior force that we talked about, that we both agree on, right? And then from there, I'm sure we both got individual goals for ourselves, right? And aspirations. So how does that work, right?
When you saying that, I just hear who, what, when, where, why. Who, God, what we submitting to, when, how does that look? That's just like, I think they need to ask who, what, when, where, why questions in every domain in the relationship. Like, I'm going to submit to you. You know, we're a couple. The Bible say wives submit to your husband. Husbands submit to... No. He say husbands love your church.
Yeah. So,
but in other words, husbands, y'all better be submitted to God.
Definitely, because God is the head of the man. I mean, and man is the head of
the family.
The wife, and then it trickles down from there.
Right.
So,
but I hear who, what, when, where, why, how, and I like where you was going before that, because you was like, the what is our strength. So can I hear the where, the how, and the why?
The where.
You did it already. You said the finances. We did it. Taking the kids to depending on the different areas where that submission looks different. Finance, kids, spiritual. And
the who is whoever is more strong in that area. Whoever has that's who the authority is given to. Mm-hmm. And we talk individuals.
And how does submission look? You better do it. I said right now. If I do it.
No, because guess what? All right, so what I was kind of alluding to is that there's also a submission when it comes to vision. So when it comes to vision, there's individual vision, and then there's unit vision. There's family vision, right? And family comes first. With God, family is first, because that's that's the superior force that we submit to. And then, so with God, since family comes first, then that means that the vision for the family comes over the vision for the individuals, right?
And that's why I had to submit to you in that area. Because I struggled because I will always, and you'll say, Jazz, you're burning yourself for people outside this home. And one time I was about to go to a trip, a family reunion, exhausted. You was like, babe, you better not get on that road, because you're not going to risk your life or my kid's life for you to go up there to a family reunion knowing you didn't even have time to sleep and whatever. I forgot what happened the day before I was supposed to get on the road. So I submit to you in that area because you're big on my house first. These 6, the elite 6,
right.
Like, this is primary, and I had to submit and grow in that area with you, because I'm like, no, this my family too, and that's my family too, and that's my friend too, and that's my job too. So that's an area where I can say I submit all around, because everything we do we mutually agree, but that's your strength. Right. That's my weakness.
So we vision. You know what I'm saying? My individual, I know I got goals for myself and aspirations, but I can't place them over what's best for the family, right? My vision for myself as an individual has to connect with, coincide with, and it can't override the vision for the family. If it conflicts with it in any way, then that ain't something I should be aspiring for. You know
that's why some women have hard time submitting, because these men for the streets.
And a lot of families, may not have sat down.
No, you ain't catch that. You ain't catch that. Because you be coming for my sister sometimes.
Talking about
these men be for the streets.
These women be for the streets.
But I'm just saying.
Right.
The question was, why don't women submit?
Okay.
First,
if the man's out of order.
Who's leading my man? Because if sex leaving you big,
if he's out of order though, but you have some men who are in order, and they woman still don't want to submit because she's out of order and she like it. It feel good. Yeah. And she may have, a lot of women, they don't, like you say, they got opportunities that men are not giving. They're making money that men ain't making nowadays. But I don't really see submitting to you, even though you right in the sight of who we agree that is our superior force. You're right, but nigga, I'm making all the money, and I'm making my own decisions because I'm the one putting in the work for this here. But it's like, that's what submission is. It's sub, right? Under. You know what I'm saying? Before, sub, the mission. It's like nothing before the mission. Make sure you're under the mission. What mission? The primary mission, which is the one for the family, not the one for yourself.
Mm. So maybe they're missing, what is our family mission?
Right.
What are we after?
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't coming for the men that's home and lovey-dovey and faithful. Like,
but you coming for the ones who out of order.
For the ones who out of order.
They out of order, fellas. You out of order.
Be out of order.
Okay.
Wanting somebody to be in order.
Fellas, if you're out of order, please, by all means, get in order. Get your house in order, please. And it starts with you. I'm gonna say that. It starts with you, and if she don't follow you, then she got to take that up with the superior power that you guys have agreed to submit to. She got to take that up with him or her.
And for my sisters, that you got somebody at home who isn't at the level that you wish or desire them to be on. Help them. Figure it out. Everything is figure outable.
Right. Because guess what?
It's gonna work. What's gonna work?
And you gotta have an attitude. But then also remember, if you at home with somebody who, like you said, who is not up to your standards, just remember that you the one attracted that person. So at some point, you guys were the same. You may have grown since then, and that's cool. And as long as they have a will to grow, you're there to assist them in that growth. You may think that they don't have a will to grow because they don't want to grow in the way you want them to grow. You want them to do, growing for you may mean A, B, C, D. And if you ain't trying to attack these areas right here, then you ain't growing. It may not be for them. Their area may be the area that, again, strengths and weaknesses. What areas, right, do they actually have authority in? What are their strengths? Assist them in their strengths. Don't just harp on what their weaknesses are. That ain't helping them. That ain't helping them. Back to what's primary. The family, right? It's primary. So if the family is primary and progress is primary, not saying we ain't got to fix some things. Like, we got to get that attention to whatever needs to be fixed. However, like I just was talking to somebody the other day at the barbershop, and he was like, "Man, look, I go through some trauma, man." He said, you know, he lost his wife while he was in prison. She was murdered. People go through some real life stuff. So he was like, man, the advice I was given to another person, another barber, was that if you're going through trauma, if you're going through something, man, it's going to be something after something else. He said, but what you can't stop doing is making money. Because when I asked him, I said, how you got over that while you was in prison? How did you make it through that? He said, I kept doing something that was positive. He said, I just kept busy. I kept productive with something that was positive. Every day, one day at a time. He said, even now today, if I gotta cry, I'm gonna cry right here at this chair. And then ask the person who getting a haircut, what you getting today? He said, if I gotta, whatever it is, I'm gonna go through it right here while I'm continuing to be progressive. Because it's not all about money, but what I'm saying is, you can't, at the time, what he was talking about is that you can't make progress without money. And this is true in today's society. Like, in society, you know where we at, right? You can't do it. Even the Bible say money answers all things. All things. So without the money, you can't do nothing. Your problems are going to grow. So you getting depressed and running away from whatever it is that makes you the money ain't helping you.
Right.
Cry while you getting the money. You know what I'm saying? Go through whatever that is while you getting and staying productive at whatever it is and staying consistent, because consistency will pay off. And those distractions come to you so that you can break your consistency. That's really what it's after. Because the laws of the universe that God created is that consistency will pay off. And so whatever opposes you, this always happening to me, is always one thing after another. Like, those things come to you so that it can throw you off of the path of consistency. That's the battle. So whatever you got to do to remain consistent, do that.
You speaking to the fellas?
I'm speaking to everybody. Hey, whoever the shoe fit, you know what I'm saying?
Because while you were saying it, I just visualized how some men probably struggle to let go of the mama leech. Mm. And they get in these relationships with women and expect her to be their mother. So she will never submit. A mother doesn't submit to the child. Mm-hmm. The child submits to the mother. Mm-hmm. So if men are getting in these relationships and expecting their wives to be their mama, how's she gonna submit? I'm your mama.
Right. You put her in a position that cannot submit to you.
She can't. I'm the mama. I'm the authority here. I can't submit. Right. So if guys want women to submit, start being the daddies that y'all want women to call y'all. Can you be my daddy?
Start being them.
Yeah, they gotta start being them. Like start being men.
Start being men,
and then we'll have something to submit to.
Okay.
Children don't submit. Okay. I mean, moms don't submit to kids.
Right.
It's my way. Right. It's what I say.
And to my dogs who might not even be in this situation yet, because I know we got people that, hey, you ain't married. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? You may still be single right now. And you just
keep y'all mamas. If this for y'all, this ain't an issue for us. Shout out to Mama Gail. I love my mother-in-law. Keep your mothers out of your relationships. Because then your wives feel like, I'm not submitting to you. I'm submitting to what your mama said. Mm. Then there's another area of why they don't submit. They're not submitting to you. They're submitting to your mama.
Right.
But shout out to Mama Gail. Mama Gail, listen. Sis understand her boundaries. She ain't trying to come in. She ain't trying to tell him how to rule. Yeah. So when he rules, I know that you hearing from God. And not everything I'm gonna feel like you hearing from God. Like today he tried to make me do some extra sit-ups or whatever he had me doing. Baby, I struggled with submitting in that area because I was uncomfortable. Mm. And that's why women struggle too. Wow. You want us to submit, but we're uncomfortable to what you're telling me to submit to. I wasn't uncomfortable because I ain't believe you telling me the right thing. Nigga, I was uncomfortable because I was tired.
Okay.
It hurted.
Okay.
It was too much.
Okay. And guess what?
So I kind of resisted and fought back.
And discomfort is the area that you actually grow. Discomfort helps you grow. Being comfortable will have you complacent and you stay in that same place. Whatever that is, you will not see no progress. So being like, you got to learn a lot of us got to learn how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable if we expect to grow.
Got to have them conversations.
So that's the case when it comes to you submitting. Then you really got to get to that place where you're comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right. And understanding just the principle that being uncomfortable always got you somewhere. Think about it. Being comfortable ain't never got you nowhere, but the same place you at.
And a few extra pounds.
That's the only place you're going to see some progress at. You know what I'm saying? So, and my baby just cut me off, right? I was waiting on her to say, excuse me, baby. She never did. But I guess because it was about my mama, she felt like she had a pass.
What?
Yeah. All right. So.
My bad.
So
I had to get it out there.
Individuals, like I was saying, some individuals may still be single and searching. And when it comes to y'all with submission, like let that start with you already. Let it already know before you even get into dating what your standards are, what your who, what, when, where, how, right? Who it is that you already who do you submit to? You know what I'm saying? What vision do you have as a man for your family that you may not even have yet, right? What vision do you have for them? What's your 5-year, 10-year, you know what I'm saying, 30-year, because guess what I realized? When you start studying submission, it kind of leads into the fact that, dang, everything falls on, everybody got to submit, even the children has to submit to that vision, that family vision, which is the primary vision. Because all individual goals, all individual missions visions have to fall under that and submit to it. I can't do nothing that's outside or that's going to clash with the primary family vision. I can't do it, and neither can the children. So when you talk about, oh, what are we going to school for? What should I study? What should I? Oh, all that should coincide with
what we got going on.
With what the vision that was handed down from our superior, you know what I'm saying? Force.
Well, we got to have mercy in that area because, you know, when kids become a certain age, just like women in marriage or guys that reach a certain standard, the vision of the family is further away, and we have to constantly reel them back in.
Well, I mean, you know, and that's when you realize, at least you know where to see. You won't even know if there's disobedience if you don't have a structure. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody understands what the vision is, right? Of course, everybody has to let's understand it and let's see where we fall in place with it at, right? Because I believe that if there's a vision handed down from our superior force, then there has to be a place for everybody in it,
right?
Without us even knowing. So that's why a lot of time that how and your who, what, when, where, how is above our pay grade. Some of that how is going to be above our pay grade. Some of that how is going to take faith for us just to believe that it's going to happen and fall into place the way it should because we have a structure given to us from our superior force.
Well, whatever day you decide to be a non-believer is the day submission going to look crazy, crazy, crazy over here. Because I ain't submitting to
nothing that ain't
I ain't submitting to a baby Jesus.
Right.
I ain't doing it.
So we gonna get into parenting too. Because
next episode we got to.
Because
especially when y'all gonna go into these relationships.
When you have a child that don't want to fall into line with the structure and the vision that was given down by the superior force that you've agreed to, then that child is out of order. It's disobedient, and then everything that falls in line with being disobedient, like you can expect, right? And even us, right? You gotta have that order. You gotta know what to submit to.
It's a trending picture on a quote that's going around on social media. It says, uncomfortable conversations create the most healthiest relationships. And we've always said that. Like, have those uncomfortable conversations. Be honest. Like, communicate how you're feeling or why you're afraid to submit or what's the struggle and what that person is saying to you. Like, have the uncomfortable conversation. Gotta have them.
And it's the same nigga talk about how she ain't want to submit to being uncomfortable.
But so I told him why. Holy Spirit activate, because I told him why. I was like, oh, babe, my knee is just I need my brace on or something. Something gotta give. And then he understood and kind of like took the pressure down. So have those uncomfortable conversations so submission can look a little different. And your submission may look different from ours. People may look at ours and feel like, child, Jazz don't submit to me. You just don't know me.
Right.
You just don't know our relationship. You don't know us. So go to God for your relationship and find out what submission look like for your relationship.
Right.
But just make sure y'all are submitting to a higher force and not just what that man's saying.
Right.
I ain't trusting no man without God.
Or not just what that woman's saying.
Or not just what that woman is. Exactly. But that ain't necessarily the order that the man is supposed to submit to the woman. Right. The order is the wife submit to your husband. Okay, husband, be submitted to God.
Yeah, but even so, right? I'm speaking more so on the individual submitting to someone's will, the will of a person. If that will of a person happens to be out of alignment with the vision for the family, then that will of a person you shouldn't follow.
Listen, so that is out of the will for the vision of this family for me to have to exercise like that.
Chapley.
That is out of the will for the family. It won't work.
I can ask all my kids right now, y'all want a fat mama? Y'all want a mama?
No, you want an unhealthy mom.
Y'all want an unhealthy mama?
Yeah, unhealthy. Because it ain't the
no, some people's body structure is just heavier. Naturally that, and they're healthy, and that's great. But it ain't yours.
Nah, it ain't mine. My knees get to start hurting.
Yes, when you wonder like why this hurting and why that hurting, that's not your natural.
Too much weight.
That's not your natural like makeup. Like you're not supposed to be holding that much weight, right? Or you're not holding enough weight because we got a lot of people that's slimming all the way down, and you may not be holding enough weight for what you're really supposed to be holding for that frame. Your body knows.
Enough. I thought you were about to say Enoch.
No, I mean, shut up. So you got some people that's slim and having issues too because
absolutely
you may not be
healthy.
And
that's what we on, y'all. We on healthy. Let's be healthy. Let's be whole. Mentally. Let's be grounded
physically.
And we're not saying we're that because we're growing
emotionally.
Listen, every podcast episode, y'all best believe God sent a test our way. Like, y'all really about that? All right. Boom. Let me see. So, communicate. Get some therapy if needed. Keep God as the higher, superior force.
Yeah.
Do some assessments within that relationship.
Do some assessments.
And submission is for husbands, lady. Y'all out here submitting to boyfriends.
Ooh. Now listen though too. Now when you say assessments, I want to say that assessments, like that just meaning like assess. Let's assess. Let's take some type of notes in regard to what your strengths are, what my weaknesses are. That may be trial and error. You might have it right now, right, in a certain area, and then we see, oh nah, you okay. Let me try it.
Right.
Let's
see how this works.
This may not be the best way it could go.
And that don't make you a less
right. That don't mean you may not even be messing up. It just may be, you know what? I kind of see some things that we could be kind of. And then when y'all start doing that together, like going over these numbers and stuff together, like, because we used to do it together, right? Right now, she just do it. But we used to do it together, and that's how we realized, and that's how I was able to realize that, oh, no, she really got this. She really got this. You know what I'm saying? And it gave me more faith in that area with her. So...
Family, that don't mean text me asking can you borrow money because y'all done found out who running the finances over there. I don't run them. It still got to get passed on, agreed upon,
I'm telling you.
And then distributed.
Yes.
So, yeah, that wraps up
episode.
We going, y'all.
It's probably about.
We racking them up. I don't even
15,
know. 15, 14
to 15.
We racking them up.
Yeah.
We building the community. Our overall goal is to interview other married couples to educate people that desire to be married or already married and trying to make it work. We on a
coaching.
Mission. That is the mission of our family.
Events.
Given by our superior force.
Yeah.
Which is God.
But then for now, though, since we, like I said, we don't really have the space to be having people come up in here. But y'all can leave it down in the comments. Whatever you may have to say in regards to, like, giving us, like, some tips. Giving us, sharing your experience with us in regards to this particular subject or any subject that we have. Leave it down in there. We definitely read it. We definitely can learn from each other.
Subscribe, share, and like to help us build.
Yeah.
We out of here. I did good on that part, huh?
Watch more.
You don't want to let the people
videos.
Go. You don't want to let
it's very
the people
important.
Go.
Watch more videos.
You gotta watch more videos. Share it, y'all. Share. We out.
Peace.
101.